Hello there and welcome to Katawa Shoujo. Lynx here. Let's continue with Emi's route through the night. My morning alarm goes off. Yeah, mine will also go off in the morning. And I played about uselessly for a while until I remembered that I decided to give morning runs another shot. That's not what I will be doing for. My run will be in the evening, hopefully, if my foot will be okay-ish, because, well, I have a cut on my toe and it's a pain running like that, and you know, I don't stomp like I normally do and it goes into my shin, which of course is a problem, continuous problem. Anyway, I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. Same, man, same, since the beginning of 220. Because, well, before that, kinda problematic due to stupid work in the store back in the day. Yeah, this is about my health after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? Oh, okay, now that I think about it, there is no music, so of course there is no... If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. I mean, there is some truth to that. Surprisingly enough. But, yeah, I mean, doing sports helps. Once again, it will appear that I'm not alone in my run. Emi has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already been, I mean, yeah, she's already worked up some good sweat. Must be a nice view. Just when the hell does she come down here anyway? Plot twist. She never leaves. Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why is that? Because in previous 3 routes, you have not appeared here for the second time. Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. Like the rest of the track team, for instance? What? Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning. A shrug, and suddenly appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So... Come on then! What? You're here to run again, right? Oh, well, yeah. So come on! I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Now to think about it, I did appear for the second time, but it was never mentioned that nobody else was there. Because I'm pretty sure there was some kind of choice on the track. I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling, while Emi moves with an effortlessness that I find enviable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. Hey, you have to start somewhere. Of course you will get worn out, in the beginning. I know I should be patient, work towards things gradually, but that's how you do it, mate. It's difficult to stay positive about this. Hey, oh, I understand. I mean, you can manage for. I mean, I'm constantly flooded with negative thoughts. And during run it's not any different. And it's not about running really, but hey. It makes you want to stop running, but if you overcome this, it's super good feeling. It's difficult to stay positive about this. We round the track and start on our second lap, so you made 400 meters more or less. Emi seems to have grown impatient keeping pace with me and begins to pull away. This is what I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? Will I? what would Lynx do? Well, Lynx would of course go for it, but you know, with the previous routes. Yeah, I mean, this proves that we've been here for the second time. We didn't appear the first time for. Then again, I mean, sure, 400 meters for him right now is like a, you know, already exhausting thing. When I was starting, I was doing 2.5 kilometers my first entire month actually, and I was not overdoing that. But let's go for it. It's not a distance that you can't, you know, make longer. It's only 400 meters. What am I even doing here? I'm really just going to fold and let Emi pull ahead? I speed up. And that one, my heart gives up. I'm worried this might happen. The second lap's done quickly and without even considering if I keep going. Emi looks back over her shoulder at me and grins. Still going? What did... Oh, I'm out of shape. Emi laughs without breaking her stride, no less, and speeds up even more. Well, if this is the way we are going to play things... I increase my own pace as well. You're going to die, man. I mean, he's dumb. He's dumb. That's not how you do it. Oh my god. That's totally not how you do it. I can feel my lungs burning and my legs are starting to question just what the hell I think I'm doing. Lactic acid screams in my muscle, but I close my ears. I can't let myself fall behind because that would be a loss. The rational voice in my head inquires mildly just when we started playing a game. I answer it, but I'm having a lot of trouble thinking at present. Oh, this is the best feeling actually. When you go and your mind is shuts off and you just run. That's a great feeling, yeah. She's so fast! How the hell does she keep... Oh, it's like a string pulling at my chest, a choking feeling of narrowness and pain. Before I can think of anything else then... Oh shit! The truck disappears from under my feet. I stumble, one hand shooting down to clutch at my chest, the other hitting the truck to keep me from falling on my face. Emi whirls around and her eyes widen. Hisao! She yells at me, sprinting from the other side of the truck. What truck? Nothing, just... Keep your breathing steady. Yeah, and that's what you were supposed to do during run as well. You need to keep the attention to your breathing over there. Especially you, Hisao. Calm down. Don't panic. Don't panic. Do you need me to get a nurse? I close my eyes, shutting out the outside world. My heart struggles to regain its rhythm. Slowly, the pain in my chest begins to subside. Soon it's gone like nothing happened. It was nothing. No, something happened there. I open my eyes again and glance at a very worried Emi. I think I'm fine. My voice sounds weird even to myself, odd even, and no matter of fact it makes Emi frown. I don't think you are. She seems to come to a decision and nods to herself. Right, you're coming with me. You've got to see the nurse. Emi grabs my arm and drags me up. I feel a bit wobbly, but I refuse the shoulder Emi offers to support. Honestly, I'm a little ashamed by my own weakness. Dude. I'd really rather not have Emi concerned about me, but it seems to be too late. Heck, I'd really rather not have anyone concerned about my condition, for at this point it seems to be too late for that as well. I'd like to be able to deal with the whole thing on my own, without being a bother to anyone else. While I'm wishing for things, I'd rather not have this condition in the first place. Nurse! Emi crashes into his office without knocking, but it doesn't alarm the nurse in the least. Good morning, Sunshine. What's up? Sunshine? Sunshine, really? Anyway, he calmly sips from his coffee mug, but lays down after following Emi's gaze to me looming in the doorway. Hisao, what brings you here? We were running, and he stumbled over and started grabbing at his chest, and I thought... Easy there, Amy. Calm down. Hisao, what happened? I don't know. I mean, we were running and then my chest started hurting like that time before, but it went away after a few seconds. It was just a flutter or something? The nurse frowns as if to say that just a flutter is some kind of oxymoron. I didn't mean quite this when I suggest to get some exercise. You've got to be more careful, Hisao. I was... No, you weren't. You were not. I was just... Come to think of it, I just got in the race with a member of the track team. Doesn't seem as well reasoned as I thought it would be. You just what? That is... yeah. I was racing Amy. Amy, is this true? Amy fidgets, looking adorably contrite. Well... Finally, she can't seem to bring herself to say that out, and Melanie nods. The nurse sighs and rubs at his forehead with one hand tiredly. Yare dase. Amy, you've got to be more sensitive to the limits of others. I don't know if he told you, but Hisao has a bad heart, and getting him to race you was incredibly irresponsible. I mean, it was his fault. It was my fault for saying yes, let's go for it. But then again, I would say if I were to guess that, you know, it would be, yeah, let's make another lap, not freaking go and try to race as someone who's a track team member. Actually, I started it. The nurse is stunned by my statement. You what? We were just running and Amy started to pull away, and so I sped up to catch her. The nurse stares at the ceiling. Mutters a prayer for patience to some god or another. Understandable. And looks back down the both of us. So, you're both stupid. That's a comfort, I guess. Now come on, Hisao. I've got to make sure your heart's not going to explode or something. I dutifully obey and follow him to the adjacent room where we are certain that I am, in fact, not going to keel over and die. I mean dead again. The nurse said to him to work out and such. The problem is he's still a kid, and as we know, he wasn't really a member of any clubs, sport clubs or whatever, like he just occasionally played with some friends, right? I would say you should have did it yourself or have someone to teach him of the ways of how he's supposed to do the sports. Anyway, I do feel obey and follow him to the adjacent room where we are certain that I am in fact not going to keel over and die. So, how does it feel? I don't know, not much. Tired, but maybe just from the exercise. You should stay here for a few hours and rest, and we'll see how you feel after that. What the... Okay, is that freaking wallpaper of yours something crazy like all those artworks around the school? Which reminds me, I don't complain about the artworks in that hall anymore. Surprising. I'm not going to object, so I lie down on the infirmary bed. A four of the miserable Amy comes at me after getting an earful from the nurse in the other room. Poor girl. I couldn't hear what he said through the closed door, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasantries. Look, I'm really sorry. I should have been more careful. Hey, you didn't know. It's not your fault. Really. She looks awfully down and sorry, and my reassurances don't do anything much to cheer her up. I want to make it up to you. Again with a decisive nod. So, you have to come to lunch with me. I'll bring it for you, okay? Something really good. I start with, you don't have to, but then shut up and just nod at her when I see her face. Good. You will meet on the roof. We? Yep, the weather's nice now, so the roof's great spot for lunch, you know. I see. You'll come, right? You wouldn't deny me the chance to make it up to you. Of course not. Great! See you there! I stay afloat somewhere between asleep and awake, feeling completely drained. Not only my body, but all of me is limp and paralyzed, apart from my senses. I swallow with difficulty and try to lie as still as I can, which is, in this state, is not a very hard thing to do. Banner is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains he drew to give me privacy. I can see his shadow shifting about in the sunlight. He has opened the window of his office. It's windy outside. The clean white curtains flutter in the breeze in a heavy, lazy motion, like waves. Light sifts through them slowly, half absorbing into the fabric. I close my eyes. The breeze on my face feels like the soft fabric of the curtains. I listen to the sound of my heartbeat for a moment, trying to shut out the sound of the nurse tapping away on his computer and my own heavy breathing. It's steady. Damn it, not even a week and I end up like this again. I really screwed up this time. Should have known better than to play the half-baked sports star in front of a real one. And why did I try to act brave? Like that heart flutter was no big deal. Even when it was obvious that it was. It was just a reflex, to push it away, to keep it inside. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Emmy to see it. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Back. I have to be more careful, or I will end up in the hospital again. Or worse. That's my final thought before I give in to the tiredness. Bad end. I'm kidding. No. I fell asleep. For how long? What time is it? I'm feeling a little lightheaded and I keep blinking compulsively. Pushing the curtain aside, I squint my eyes against the unfiltered light pouring in from the window. The texture of the canvas feels nothing like the wind did before. The nurse looks up from his work, sitting exactly where he was before. How are you feeling? I can't really tell, so I don't answer anything. I'm feeling kinda groggy from falling asleep. That's such a weird time. Hopefully I don't look too weird. What time is it? Me croaking the question to gain some orientation, the nurse looking at his wristwatch before answering. Things seem to happen in slow motion. 10:15. I try to think for a minute what that means, but I'm not really sure. You didn't answer my question, Hisao? Fine. Climb down from the bed then and let's see how you're doing, without... I try to do exactly that, only to sway easily when I move too fast. The nurse moves to support me by an arm and sighs. Stand up too quickly is what I was going to say. Just sit there, I'll check your pressure to make sure. Yeah, that's exactly what my grandfather did last year. He stood up too quickly and broke goddamn thigh bone. Happens. My good intentions sure lasted for a long time. I shut up, embarrassing myself, while the nurse gets busy with an old-fashioned contraption at my arm. After a couple of minutes, he puts it away, looking neither pleased nor unhappy. You're right. Head stopped spinning. Yeah. Good. And how are the contents doing? You didn't show very good judgment out there, Hisao. I swallowed the thought I was going to make. It's what I was thinking myself, but hearing it stated by somebody else makes me want to protest. What he's saying is not pleasant to hear. Doesn't it make him any less right? No, sir. He nods, still looking as neutral as he was before. It would be easy to be angry at him if he said, "Told you so," or something, but he doesn't. I can try and help you to keep your health, but ultimately the last call lies with you. Hopefully this little episode will be something to remind you of that. Here, a note for the teacher, to avoid an interrogation. I take the slip of paper he's offering and then make my leave, as I can't think of anything else to say, nor even really want to. Stay out of trouble, you hear me? I don't think it was anything but a scare, but next time could be different. I hear you. There is some way to get to the school building straight from the auxiliary building, but I'm not keen to find out and possibly get lost. So I go out from the exit that I know works. I stop at the stairs of the auxiliary building, deliberating for a moment between going to the dorms to get my books and stuff and going straight away to the class. The sun stings my eyes, so I head towards the dorms. There is the ugly picture. Now I remember of that. The halls are quiet as the courtyard was. Naturally, so nice everyone is in class. I knock lightly at the door of Free and push open door when Muto calls from the other side. Sorry I'm late. 15 pairs of eyes turn to me. Good morning, Nakai. Muto seems to be somewhat confounded by my coming in late, as if I interrupted his flow or something. Judging from the rambling lectures his classes tend to be, that might be the case. I pass him the note the nurse gave me. Muto takes it with a note and reads it quickly. He lifts his eyebrows and gives me a kind of a stern look, but doesn't say anything, just not solemnly again. I shrug and he gestures at me to run along, so I naturally do. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of school. I haven't even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture. That was me in university for... well... 2.5 years out of 3.5. Later it was just like, okay, just... will you send the presentation? Yeah. Cool. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I mean was, the remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Normally I join the flow and grab a lunch myself, but today is different. Today I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. Eventually the torrent subsides and I step tentatively out into the hallway. Only to be met by Emmy, who comes flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball. Hey, Hisao! Great timing! I have super extra lunch today as promised. Let's go upstairs. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shows the door open and steps me in the sunlight. Suddenly a tall dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Hello? Yeah, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she? Hello? Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours. Rin has turned her eyes towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know. You knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for free. Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it's in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. Dude, if we had access to the rooftops in my schools, I would be there every single day. Except maybe for winters. And rainy days. For who knows. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at the passerby. Somehow when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus, like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly. I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I stepped out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smoke. Oh, that's complete opposite to Poland. A car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. By the way, I think we have one of the worst situation when it comes to air in the entire Europe, maybe even world. Like, completely garbage. Damn, this country sucks. Emi settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Hisao! What are you waiting for? She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I sit myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emi suppresses a giggle and places the lunchbox in front of Rin, and hands another one to me. Here you go! Lunch as promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Well, this looks really good. Thanks! I make it myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food in her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of that I know it's weird, but I kind of want to try doing that. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I'm right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? No. Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? Yes. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emi tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. What? You seem pretty hungry. Emi looks up, mouth half full and swallows before nodding. My morning round always works up an appetite. Oh, yeah. That's what working out does. Which is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like that? Talk like what? Like what? What? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emi answer the question. Someone in the housing department thought they'd be compliant. We'd complement each other well, so we are assigned rooms next to one another. Complementing each other? Completement. I feel like complete each other would work better, but okay. Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Ambiguous and my confusion. Put us together, we've got all of our limbs, get it? So I started helping get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses the moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of? This isn't helping, but at least Amy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms, so... putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what, I'm going to just stop talking now. It will save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I expect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation does as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ha! That was good! As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about it, sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tells me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch to herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw to the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. I mean, you didn't say anything previously. But okay, somehow I don't think either Amy or Rin are the sort of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. Honestly, not sure. So, Hisao, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch too. Amy grins, 1000-watt grin. Please buy my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make the lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service. I don't know. Amy looks more offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve! She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I have ever seen us Amy pouts. Kidding. I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Amy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now? Or at least acquaintances? The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again! I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away! Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I found myself without a plan for something to do after. Oh my god, I'm worried right now what's going to happen to the after school. So I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Whew. No stress, Lynx, no stress. Shizune is not there. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on the Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from back the day make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry, Yuko. Didn't mean to startle you. Again? No. That's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Are you, Fawn? Can I help you? It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I grab another book or two while I'm here. There is not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprising flow. She's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I sighed against it, treading on her like last time and back to finding reading material. Hanako. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decided on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them to my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Presumably. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room to read the books I borrowed. There has been enough action and excitement for one day already. The first is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be, with the wacky characters and nonsense plot. The game was so-so. I start thinking of myself as some kind of an addis too, hopelessly tumbling down the rabbit hole in the crippled Wonderland. Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overt way the school accommodates the absolutely everything is unsettling. It is like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts drifting further away from the book. It's quiet. I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason it makes me feel really bad, like it has since that time in the forest with Iwanaka. Like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stared at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fall asleep. And end the episode. We'll continue tomorrow, of course. For now, hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next one. And I wonder now, for example, how many actual pages would that be? What we've been through right now in this episode, for example. I'm curious. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.